Okay, so let's just talk a little bit about your, background. So tell me a little bit about you.
Well, the funny thing is, I'm living in California now. I've been out here for wow, over 20 years, but I'm a born and bred New Yorker, and working on Wall Street, all of the ladies were into the romance novels, and so they got me hooked into reading them. And after reading them for a year, maybe two, I was like, it's not that hard. I could do this, because I've always written. I wrote my first book in the fourth grade, so um, I wrote a composition. The teacher liked it. She read it. She gave it to the principal to read. He liked it, and then by the time I went to lunch, he had read it on the PA system throughout the school. So then everybody knew who I was. I was like a little mini celebrity at lunchtime, and I was like, "This is kind of cool. I like this." So I was like, "Let me write big stuff." So I wrote 3 or 4 children's books. One was about colors, and no, I mean, like I'm 9, so I don't know much at that point. But and then I wrote one about a genie called Zinzinger, and I wrote one called "Have You Ever Tried?" God bless my mom; she remembered the entire story. So when I was in college and I had to submit a writing, it wasn't an example; it was an exercise. She relayed the whole story to me, so I typed it up and handed it in, and that was the end of that took care of that assignment. But then once I started working and I started writing stories, and I enjoyed it. So I just kept doing it. And I had nothing to do with them. I didn't know how to get them published. I had a ton of rejection notices. And so I used to just write them and shove them in a shopping bag and shove them in the hall closet. And I just kept writing. So I have probably about 30, 40 books.
Wow.
I published 14, but I probably still have another, they're in various stages of, development. But 2005 was when I finally published the first book, which was High Rise. And when you don't know and you're ignorant, that's like when you get the best stuff done. That's how I wound up on 2 bestseller lists. That's
I
how
was gonna ask you about
yeah, and
that.
it was so random how it happened. But people say no, it wasn't random because that was supposed to,
Right,
happen.
everything happens for a reason. Going back to you talked about how many different novels that you've written. So let's go back to your very first novel. How did that come about? Like what
So
was
that
this
is this book, High Rise,
High Rise?
and
Okay.
this is
Bestseller.
the second edition of it.
Okay.
Okay, the first edition was 600 pages,
Okay.
which is insane for your first book. But like I said, when you're ignorant, you don't know. If you're ignorant of something, so you just do it. You're fearless, you do it. So after I wrote this 600-page book, people were like, and I finally figured out, took me quite a while how to get it published. Everybody was saying things to me like, well, really mean stuff. People are very mean to you. So I tried getting in, doing book signings and things like this. And people tell me, no, we're not going to give you a book signing. We don't want you in our store. They would actually say things like, really hurt your feelings. Because I go home and cry a lot.
Wow.
Nobody knows who you are. Nobody's going to pay $26.50 for a book by a nobody. I mean, people looked me in my face and said this to me, had no qualms about crushing my little heart.
Wow.
And you cry because to me, that's my baby. Like I've been working on this thing for so long. This is like my baby. That's like somebody telling you your baby's ugly.
Right.
It just crushed me. And so I just was like, man. And so here in Sacramento, there was a book that they're not here anymore, but a huge store called Tower. They used to do records and everything, and they they had a spot for local authors, and so they let me have a book signing, and it was so funny because the lady was like, "So just to let you know, it's probably only going to last an hour. There probably won't be anybody here." She said, "But you're welcome to." And so they gave it to me, and so 4 hours later, in a line out the door, they couldn't believe it. They was like, "What?" They say usually when we have, self-published authors, nobody comes. But I
Right.
know I promoted the heck out of that at work. I mean, I was emailing people to death, work, friends, family, everybody. And I had I looked up and had a line like 2, 3 times. And my 1 hour book signing wound up being 3.5, almost 4 hours. So it was wonderful for the first book signing. They couldn't believe how many books I sold. And they called me, they said, Donna, can you bring some books to the store? And I was like, why? They said, people are still coming in asking for the book. And, we sold out of everything you gave us. I was like, cool, So that was my first experience, which was great. After everybody was so mean and nasty to me. Now, how I got on Essence bestseller list was really just random. I had tried to get a book signing in New York. I'm from New York, so I wanted to get a book signing there. And I actually had one lined up at Barnes and Noble, and the corporate okayed it. And then the manager of the store that I picked, I was playing phone tag with him. And finally, he left me a nasty note that said, I don't want you in my store. And I was like, wait, what? Like I had done something to him. So I'm boohooing again. And my cousin's like, you need to go up to Harlem and have it in Human, because that's where all the Black stars have their book signings. So I called them. They let me come. I sold a bunch of books again because I'm from New York. So I had people from college, family, like just everybody coming out. It just so happens the month that I was there was the month that they reported their sales to Essence magazine. And that's how I got on the Essence bestseller list.
Wow.
So random. But
see how things happen.
Yeah, but if I had gotten into Tower or Barnes and Noble or whatever, would it never happened. So
what was that like, going from getting absolute no's, people wouldn't, let you come in the store, to now being an Essence bestseller, because it's Essence? How did that feel?
Oh, it was wonderful. It was like vindication. And also I was on this is an online thing, blackbookplus.com. I was also on their bestseller list that same month as well. So I mean, it just was, I can't even describe it. It was just so wonderful. And it was good that I was ignorant to how things ran and didn't listen to people, because I wouldn't have kept going. I just was like, I know the book is good. The people that have read the book loved it, and I know there's an audience for it. So I just kept going, and then I had a lot of people, you have a village, you have a lot of people that push you. And when, you get your 15th rejection letter and you like in a pool on the floor crying, they're like, look, get out. That's only 15, so-and-so got 890 and now, look at where they are. So, you need stuff like that to push you, keep you going. If you know that, my thing is, when people come to book signings and say, oh my God, I was bawling like a baby on this part, or you are so crazy, I feel like you was out with me and my girls, because you guys is like exact what you were writing was exactly what happens when we go out, or I've had people tell me that, oh my goodness, it's like, was you in my bedroom last night? Because you kind of describing stuff, and I'm like, wait a minute,
this feel a little bit too personal.
It was so funny, but people just they enjoy it. They tell me that they feel like they're watching it. They say you write so descriptively that I don't feel like I'm reading. I feel like I'm watching it, which really makes me happy.
Yeah.
So so, and that just makes me, keep writing. So.
That was a very good point that you made, talking about I think that you said ignorances.
Yeah.
Or just, so talk about some of that. Like, what were some of those things that people told you? You spoke a little bit about that just almost made you give up on your dream, but you decided to just keep on pushing.
Well, I mean, like I said, people are not kind at all. Like they're just not. Like, like I said, people look me dead in my face and say, you are a nobody. Nobody's going to pay $26.50 for this book. Like, really? And I'm like, well, my goodness, the book is 600 pages. Like, why wouldn't they? I'm thinking one way and they're saying something else, and they're going just on name recognition. I said, how about if they read the book because it's good? How about, and I'm thinking of the feedback I've gotten from the few people that read it as I was writing it, and like they're bugging me. Where's the next chapter? Like, I haven't finished it, and they're like driving me crazy for that next chapter. So I was like, the people are invested in the book, then I know people will read it. So it's just a matter of me getting it out there. And just doing book signings. So I just fund myself, and I'll take a little mini vacation and do a book signing in Miami, and I'll do one in Vegas, and of course in New York, because that's where I'm from, and here in California as well. And you just do, when I go to different events and speak and do workshops. I do a lot. Well, me and my partner used to do a lot of, my business partner, a lot of writing workshops. We did a writers conference in 2013, and out of that, we had planned on doing it once a year, but people didn't want to wait a whole year. And they was like, well, you guys got to put something together because we don't want to wait a year. So we wound up doing quarterly workshops. So we did, the first workshop was writing, how to write your book. The second one was publishing. It was called, I think, My Book is Finished, Now What? Third one was on, what was the third workshop? Was on advertising, marketing, and I can't even remember the name of the other one because I haven't done them in a while. But so we did that for like 2.5 years. We did the random workshops. We even got hired by the library, in the city library, to do workshops for their patrons. So that was very exciting. That was our first paid gig. So I was happy about that.
Very exciting.
We made actual money doing this. This is great. Yeah.
So you talked about how you were a senior staff writer and reporter for a magazine. So talk about that. What was that like? You mentioned some of the people that you interviewed.
I still do that now. And
talk about that.
It's so weird because I've always worked for the city government. Even in New York, I worked for the city of New York. I worked for the Board of Ed. Now out here, I was working for the city of Sacramento, and then the county of Sacramento. And for some reason, I just wound up in city government. But then I went to see, this is probably about, maybe about 16, 17 years ago. I went to see a play, Aida. And the girl that played Aida, she was so awesome. I just was like, everybody has to go see this play. This girl she was just phenomenal. And I just was trying to get the word out. So the magazine that I write for now, I just used to, read it. And it's called The Hub Magazine. And I just wrote a paragraph and sent it in to the editor because I just wanted her to get the word out so that people will go and patronize the play. And that same actress was also coming back the next month because every summer, every month, the plays, there's a new play, they rotate out and a new play rotates in. She was going to be in Smoking Joe's Cafe the following month. So I was like, this girl is phenomenal. You'll have to go see her in Aida, and then next month go see her in Smoking Joe's Cafe. Well, she emailed me and she said, this is great. Can I run it in the magazine? I said, for what? She said, a review. I said, that's not a review. I just want you to get the word out and get people to come. She said, no, it's beautiful. It's perfect. I don't need to change anything. I said, well, if you want to run it, I mean, you can run it. It's not, when I write, you scribble stuff out and then you clean it up and then you go back, I didn't do none of that. I just wrote it out. Just please get people out. And I gave a couple of reasons why. And then she just started emailing me. Are you free? Would you be able to go watch this play and do a review? Hey, I'm getting into The Color Purple for free. Heck yeah, I'm free. So I just started reviewing plays and movies and then restaurants and then interviewing people. Then I just wound up on staff.
Wow.
So I fell into that too. That was not in the plan. Like everything with me is by the seat of my pants. Nothing's planned.
It just falls into your lap. So talk about some of the, interviews that you've done. What is maybe your favorite or your most memorable, interview that you've done so far for your magazine?
Maxwell, because I'm in love with that man.
Oh, talk about that interview if you can.
I've done Maxwell. How many times have I seen? Well, I've interviewed him twice.
Oh, wow.
And again, I fell into this interview. So my nephew, when he was in college, he was interning at the Apollo. And so the band leader, Ray Chu, he does he's the band that they use at all the Black award shows. So Nina, who was in charge of the Apollo, she wanted an interview on him. So my nephew was like, "Oh, my auntie, she's a reporter in California. She could do it." And so she got in touch with me, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." And so I was at the rehearsal for the BET Awards. So it was awesome because like I'm in, I don't know, I think I was in building 10 and 11, but like next to me was Chris Brown. On the other side of him was Rihanna. On this side, I forgot who was on this side. Anthony Hamilton, I couldn't believe it. And every time the door opened, you could hear them singing and rehearsing. I was like, this is crazy. I can't believe I'm here. So I was waiting for Ray, because he's doing the music. So I was there from 3 to like 9 because he's working. So I have to wait till he takes like 5 minutes and then I can ask one question. So I was literally all day, but it was fine. I loved it. I'd never been in an atmosphere like that before. So one of the girls from Apollo, she was there. So she said something to me and I said, oh my God. I said, I'm just so in love with Maxwell, that man. I wish he would come back because this was right. Nobody had seen him in like, 6-7 years. And so I saw this guy come in with this other guy and walk past us, and they went like to another hall, and then eventually they came back. But I didn't pay no attention because I didn't, it was just a black guy and this white guy. I didn't pay no attention. And then so she said, Donna, Maxwell just walked past. That was Maxwell. I said, girl, shut up. I know my man when I see him. I'm in love with him. I know everything about Maxwell. Don't play with me. Because I'm used to all his hair.
Right.
But remember,
didn't even recognize him.
He had cut all his, so he had shades on. So he walks past me. She said, "Here he come again." And I really looked at him. I said, "Oh my God!" I was like, "I can't breathe. I cannot breathe. What's going on? I can't breathe." I was like, "Oh God!" So the white man was his manager. So I'm like clutching my pearls that I don't have, right? And so it was just so wonderful. So it wound up being a closed rehearsal. They threw everybody out. I hid. I was like, I ain't leaving. I'm with the reaching distance of this man. I'm not moving. And so he sung, and nobody knew he was going to be on the show. So even like by the time I got back to my friend's house, I was staying with my friend down in LA. I get a call. And they're frantic. And I'm like, what? They said, look, do not release your story until after the show airs. We don't want anybody to know Maxwell's going to be there because, this is a big thing. And he came out and sung Pretty Wings. I said, oh, okay. So I said, I won't, but my magazine doesn't work like that. It comes out every month. So it wouldn't have went out then anyway, but I was like, that's fine. But they were thinking like, I guess I'm a newspaper, so it's going to hit tomorrow. So, but I got to talk to him. I got 4 hugs from him. It was just the most awesomest thing in my life. You hear me? It was just, oh God, I think about it now. It's like, matter of fact, hold on. I will get the picture and show you. Hold on.
Oh my goodness, I love this.
Okay, so here's me and Max.
Wow, that is great.
Mm-hmm. And I kept trying to get him to take off his sunglasses. He's like, nah, I ain't slept in 2 days. You don't want to see this.
Yeah, you're not going to see my eyes.
This ain't good. I'm trying to help you out. Don't look.
You can't be looking at my eyes. Okay, my last couple of questions are more about current today, what's going on with our actual culture, since this is the Black Dot Blog. So before, I just talked about a previous series that I did that focused on HBCUs and also how I'm an HBCU grad. So talk about what you think about HBCUs or just the current discussion about HBCUs, if you've heard it at all.
I mean, I think they're wonderful. I did, like, my girlfriend lives in Maryland, so of course I've gone to, not attended, but gone to Howard because that is like the school that you hear about all the time in terms of HBCU. And I actually after I got out of community college, my grades were so good, I actually got a letter from Howard to come and finish there. But, I was raising a family and working full time, and it just, my window for that had passed. So I didn't get to do that. But that would have been nice to transfer to that. So I just went to State University. I went to California State University, Sacramento, and got my degree from there. But it would have been very nice to go to a HBCU. I would have liked that. Um, I think that there's a lot of good and there's a lot of bad. I mean, I understand how some people have a problem. Well, not a problem, but say no, kids need to go to a more diverse school because when they get out in the working world, they're not going to be in this nice, warm, cozy area where everybody looks like them and thinks like them. So I get that. So it's two schools of thought. I get both of them. I think that we just need to make sure that when we send our kids out, they're prepared. And it's hard out there for us. Let's face it, everybody. It's very hard for us. And if a child has lived in a basically all Black neighborhood and then they go to a HBCU, it's a very rude awakening for them when they do go out in the work world and have to deal with all these people that don't have a clue of them and their sense of self and gonna touch their hair and all this crazy stuff. You don't go through any of that when you're in an HBCU. So that's the only thing I say is that we need to make sure that if our kids have that experience, which I think is the best experience, that we also need to remember to make sure to get them prepared for when they get out there away from that, because it is hard out there for us. And like, we can't even wear our hair. We can't eat our food. I mean, you're in the lunchroom and somebody comes in there. What is that? What are greens? Why are you eating? Is that cornbread? Just stupid stuff. Like, if you're, around Black people, it's a non-issue, But now I have to describe everything like I'm some alien from Mars or something. Like,
right.
So that is my only thing about the HBCU, especially if a child hasn't lived in a diverse neighborhood, is that once they get out of there and they get that real world, it is just it's not nice out there. And they have a lot to deal with and a lot that just comes at them and they have no idea it's coming at them. Because like I wish somebody would come up to me and say, "Can I touch your hip?" Are you trying to draw back a nub? Because we don't do that over here.
In my next question, I ask all of the Black Dot Blog interviewees this question, because once again, this is the Black Dot Blog. Mm-hmm. So we always hear about a cookout when we talk about Black people and just, what would you bring to the cookout? So that's my question for you. End it off on the good note, a funny note. If you could bring anything to the cookout, what you bringing?
Let's see. I would say my potato salad. My kids love my potato salad, and they won't eat anybody else's potato salad.
My mama loves some potato salad.
Yeah.
Potato salad.
Although my daughter thinks I need to put more mustard in, but that's a whole nother story. But yeah, I would say potato salad because they're so particular on it, on the potato salad. Yeah.
The potato salad. So where could we find you at? Website or social media so that we could purchase the book?
Well, I am on I'm on Amazon, Amazon Books, and it's under Donna Michele with one L Ramos. And if you type in Donna Michele Ramos, all of my books will come up. I have the hardcovers as well as the paperbacks as well as the ebooks. And then my website, www.donnamichelleramos.com.